Hey, good morning. It's a beautiful day out here. Thank you so much for turning on this video. I want to finish Exodus with you today. And this is probably, if not my favorite, one of my favorites. I'm going to do chapters 35 through 40. And I'm only going to focus on three verses. And I just want to recap for you. So at the end of chapter 34, God has revealed his name. Moses has been on the mountain. He's gotten all of the instructions. And he asks the people to offer willingly, and the people do. They offer so willingly that they get to a point where they have to tell them to stop giving. I mean, immediately I think, what would it look like if when people were asked to give? I mean, I've directed Christian camp, and we are often asking people to give and we raise money. What would it look like to have so much that we would literally have to tell people to stop giving? It's just a fun thing to think through. Well, in chapters 35 through 40, we just get again a recap of everything that was required for the tabernacle. Here are the three verses I want to focus on. Chapter 39, verse 32, the Israelites had done everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses, and they brought the entire tabernacle to Moses. Verse 42 of chapter 39, so the people of Israel followed all the Lord's instructions to Moses. Then Moses inspected all their work. When he found it had been done just as the Lord had commanded him, he blessed them. Listen, as a leader, you cannot expect what you do not inspect. Listen, preparation determines expectation and vice versa. Expectation will determine your preparation. And so Moses, I don't know if this means Moses wasn't inspecting everything that they were doing while they were doing it. Maybe he was. But that sticks out to me, that the Israelites, verse 32, had done everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses, and they brought it to Moses. And then verse 42, or verse 43, Moses inspected all of their work. So Moses goes through and he looks at it and he expects, or he inspects what he has expected, what God has commanded him to do. Every good leader, even if you delegate a task, we should still inspect what we expect. Here's the next thing that's really cool. Not only do leaders inspect what they expect, they celebrate what they want to see more of. Shout out to Stephen Moore and all of my mentors who have just reminded me, you celebrate what you want to see more of. We say it at camp all the time, and we see Moses do it here. Look, verse 43, when he found it had been done just as the Lord commanded, the Bible says he blessed them. Sometimes my kids will, we have chores to do in our house. I mean, I got 7 kids. With Kendra and I, it's 9 people in the house. So everybody has to do their fair share. Well, when a child comes up to me and says, hey, Daddy, I just cleaned my room. Or, hey, Daddy, I got out the dishes. I look at them and I'm like, hey, awesome. It's almost like the comedy special Chris Rock did Once Upon a Time. I mean, it's mid-90s, I think, where he was talking about how people will say, I take care of my kids like it's a badge of honor. And he responds, what, you want a cookie? Like you're supposed to take care of your kids. That nobody should praise you for taking care of your kids. That's something you should be doing. But the reality is Moses blesses them. Celebrate what you want to see more of. What do you have to lose in celebrating? We teach here by what we call the 5 fingers of wisdom. And the 5 fingers are definition. We ask what something is. Standard. Why is it necessary or why is it useful? Then we talk about procedure. How do you do this? What are the incremental steps to making it happen? Then we talk about achievement. When can I say that this has been accomplished? Lastly, celebration. That's the 5 fingers of wisdom. When you accomplish something great, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the blessing of celebration. And Moses shows us that here. So a leader has to inspect whatever they expect. And your preparation determines your expectation. Your expectation determines your preparation. Every leader should celebrate what they want to see more of. And then I got to give you this last verse that concludes my journey through Exodus, which again, as a reminder, the word Exodus means to exit. And this hopefully will bring together everything that the Lord has taught me and hopefully has taught you through this series. But this just stuck out to me. I had to underline it in my Bible and I wrote outside of it, what? With a question mark. Verse 13 of chapter 40. Actually, I'm going to read verse 12 too, so 4 verses. Present Aaron and his sons at the entrance of the tabernacle and wash them with water. Verse 13, dress Aaron with the sacred garments and anoint him, consecrating him to serve me as a priest. Aaron, the Aaron who built the golden calf, the Aaron who let the people run buck wild, the Aaron that you had to carefully confront, aka carefront, because of his lack of leadership. This Aaron, that's the Aaron that God is saying, dress him in the sacred garments and anoint him, consecrating him to serve me as a priest. It sounds like that God is getting ready to use this Aaron who has this huge moral failing and mess up. He sure is. And I told you before that God uses ordinary people. Let me tell you who else God uses. Remember, leaders have to inspect what they expect. Preparation determines expectation. Expectation determines preparation. I know I'm going over it again and again, but this is the end, and I gotta drive it home. Leaders should celebrate what they want to see more of. But let me tell you something else. God's gifts and calling are irrevocable. We hear that in the book of Romans. Listen to me. Your failure does not determine God's use of you. At the end of the day, Aaron failed. And not only did he fail, he miserably failed. And not only did he miserably fail, but when he was confronted, he smooth lied. Hey, man, I just threw the gold in there. I don't know what happened. God still, who said he was going to use Aaron, uses Aaron. I don't know what your failures are. I don't know what your mistakes are. I don't know what your sin is. I don't know where you've messed up. I don't know if you've looked at the Lord and said, nah, man, I can't do it. I messed up too much. I just want to remind you, present Aaron and his sons, wash them with water, dress him in sacred garments. Go ahead and anoint him, consecrate him, because he's going to serve me as a priest. I know he messed up. I know he failed. I know he wasn't the leader he was supposed to be. I know that of all people, Aaron probably shouldn't be the person I use. Guess what? I'm going to use him anyway. So then, I go back to chapter 6. I just want to remind you, verses 26 and following. You remember I told you that there's that weird genealogy in chapter 6? Verse 26, the Aaron and Moses named in this list are the same ones to whom the Lord said, lead the people of Israel out of the land of Egypt like an army. It was Moses and Aaron who spoke to Pharaoh. I just want to remind you, and I think that the text says that in Exodus chapter 6, because then when you see everything that happens after that, you might be going, wait, God used this Aaron and Moses? This Aaron is the Aaron that God still used as a priest, and then all of the priests that come through the Levitic line come through Aaron. We know that Jesus is a priest after the order of Melchizedek and wasn't in Aaron's line because Aaron is in the line of Levi. But Aaron is the high priest, the first one that God uses with his chosen covenant people. This is the same Aaron that royally messed up. Not only does God use ordinary people, y'all, God uses ordinary people who fail. Failure is an event. It's not a character trait. But I tell you what, if you have had some major mishaps in life, if you have had some flat out sin, I'm talking about you, a believer, and you done built a worship, you done built an idol, a calf to worship. Y'all, listen, I don't think any of us have a sin resume like Aaron. Now, or not even just a sin resume, but a resume like Aaron. Now, I could be wrong, and if you're watching and you got a resume like Aaron, then I'm still talking to you. But most of us have not come alongside a great prophet like Moses, thrown down a stick and watch it eat other people's serpents. Most of us have not turned the water of the local river into blood. Most of us have not thrown dust up in the air and it become gnats or flies. Or most of us have not seen plagues of frogs. Most of us have not seen a Red Sea or any type of body of water split like Aaron saw all that. Aaron was Moses' mouthpiece and right-hand man. He saw all of that. He saw the pillar of cloud. He saw the pillar of fire. He saw God work in some amazing ways, and he still built a golden calf. He still let the people say, this is our gods who brought us out of Egypt. Do you remember he even said, hey, look, tomorrow we're going to sacrifice to the Lord. Moses saw that he had let the people run buck wild. This is the same Aaron. God still said, dress him up, anoint him. I'm still going to use him. I need you to know today, no matter how you have failed, I believe that part of the story of the Exodus is not just the exit of the people from Egypt, but it is the exit of the ideas that we have about God, who he is and how he works, that are not who he is and how he works. A lot of us have Job's friends mentalities. And a lot of us go, well, God ain't going to use no unclean vessel. God ain't going to use nobody who failing. No, he used Aaron and he used Moses. He'll use you too. Now, somebody might get the idea that I'm saying, yeah, you can be completely unrepentant and fail all you want to, and God will still use you. Technically, that's true, right? He used Cyrus. God used Pharaoh for his glory. But when I talk about God's use, I'm talking about when we talk about serving him as a priest, Aaron, who had a major moral failing, was still anointed, consecrated by God for his use and for his purpose. And so no matter how you failed, that doesn't mean live in your failure. No, what it means is you can exit that failure understanding that it's just an event. It does not define who you are. And God's gifts and his calling are irrevocable. He's not going to stop being God on account of your sin. I love that this text lets us know that God uses ordinary, broken people. And somebody might say, hey man, but Saul, what about Saul? You know, I mean, that's me. I go, what about Saul? Saul had the kingdom stripped from him. You know, he had the kingdom stripped from him and he still was able to be king for a while. And he recognized that he shouldn't have been king. But even after God says, I'm taking the kingdom from you, he still was able to be the king until he died. And that's how David became king. I'm encouraged by this. I hope that you're encouraged by this. I fail a lot. Now, I haven't built a golden calf, but I've certainly worshiped some idols. And if God can use Aaron after all the ways he fails, then God can use you. Last time, y'all, as we conclude the book of Exodus, leaders must inspect what we expect. Preparation determines our expectation, and our expectations of what's going to happen will determine preparation every single time. As people succeed in our companies, our organizations, our churches, wherever you might be, as people succeed, celebrate what you want to see more of. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, great job, man. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. Gratitude is something missing, and we need to bring gratitude to the forefront. Thank you. And not just thank you, but thank you for the time that you spent. Thank you for the ways that you have come alongside this organization and sacrificed to make us best. Lastly, God uses ordinary, broken people to accomplish his purposes. I love you so much. I hope that this study through Exodus has been an encouragement to you. It's been an encouragement to me. I hope it's been convicting to you. And I hope that you see how God has worked. And in seeing who he is and how he's worked, I hope more than anything else, you are encouraged to love God and to love people. I love you. Have a great day.